So, I want to talk with you about leadership. And this is something that we don't talk a lot about here on the channel explicitly. And I think, quite frankly, it's something that a lot of people don't have conversations about. Like, even during my time in the military, like, we use the word a lot, but it gets abused more than it actually gets discussed in a meaningful way where people can pick up what you're putting down, right? And I think the first thing, and I'm looking forward to your thoughts and your comments down below about your experience in leadership, with leadership, whether, and regardless of whether it's just a small team or crew or whether it's a larger organization, right? Drop down some lessons learned that we can all pick up from so that we can continue to master our craft and develop our tactical virtue. One of the first things I think we have to do is understand what leadership ultimately is, right? Outlining some kind of a working definition, something that we can use on a day-to-day basis as we are doing the things. A lot of dudes, I'm gonna preempt this, may be in a leadership position, but they're not really what I would call a classical leader. They may be a director or a manager or a supervisor. And a lot of these roles and tasks are interrelated and interlocked, but there is something different about leadership. And whether or not you're in a small community group, whether you're in a workplace environment, if you get the attributes and the competencies of leading others, that long game that you're going to play is much more effective at getting what you want to get done in the first place. You gotta be a little patient sometimes. So leading, right? So providing some purpose, getting that why first, right? You have to get the why of what you're doing and what you're asking others to do first. So providing that purpose is a critical element. Given some sort of direction, right? We have task and purpose. So I know why I need to do something. Now I need to know what needs to be done and how to do it, right? And then giving somebody the motivation. Like I always used to tell dudes, like if I could just get and put together a crew that wanted to come into work, right? That really wanted to stand there, and maybe they didn't want to come in at 6:30 and say, the bend and reach or the push-up or whatever. But if I could get them to want to be part of my team and our team collectively more than another team down the street or another team that they'd been on or with in the past. Like you don't always have a choice of where you are at and the people that you work with and for and alongside of, just like you can't choose your family. But if we can create that family, that team element, that cohesion, that folks say, I want to be a part of this team, right? Because once you have that, then that self-motivation in and amongst the subordinates begins to really sprout. And again, this takes time. And every person is going to be a little bit different as far as how to reach them, right? So we have some purpose, we have some direction, we have some motivation. Now, why do we do these things? Why do we do the leadership? It's to accomplish a task, right? It could be a simple task, like pick this up and go set it down. Here's why. Here's the standards for what we're looking for. Or it could be a longer organizational type goal, right? A 5 or 10 year goal that we have. You should have some 5 and 10 year goals for yourself, for your family, for your community group, right? If you're not working towards things, then ultimately you're just spinning your wheels. And then the last thing is to actually improve the organization, right? I want to make things better. I want to make things more efficient. Not that I'm a better dude or we're going to be inherently a better team, but I want us to get into a place where we feel like we're in a better spot than we were yesterday, right? Does that make sense? I want today to be better than yesterday. And I want to know what I need to do tomorrow and the next day. So we have these short and long-term things that we're all working towards and moving towards. And there was this old dude named Deming back in the 50s. And he brought about this approach. It's called the Deming model. And I'm going to challenge and encourage you to learn more about Deming. But he had about 14 points of principles, which kind of gets lost, just like with Maxwell's, great book, great knowledge, and all these things. But so much gets lost in the sauce of what it means to actually do the job of leadership. But one of the things that Deming really pushed to get teams and organizations to embrace is that everybody needs to be a part of the process. And where the problem is not in the subordinates, it's in the leadership, right? We are the ones who are setting the tone. We are the ones giving that purpose, direction, motivation. We are the ones who are coming around and checking on tasks and doing our quality assurance and quality control, things of this nature. We are the ones who are creating the environment that others are working in. So if there's a problem, odds are it's with us as leaders. And we need to encourage and challenge every person who's a part of the organization to not only feel and believe, but to actually be a part of the process of improving our organization, right? Every person on the team matters. Now, a lot of times dudes get it twisted and think, well, I'm not going to be in a leadership role until I get put into a leadership position, right? And that is a mistake that we make. And I saw that a lot in the military. Dudes would wait until they finally became a team chief, right? And then they would try to put on the hat of a leader and start leading. Well, what they would get wrong a lot of times is they would have a lot of motivation, if you will, and a lot of oomph, but they would take a few missteps along the way. And one of the reasons why is because what they never understood prior to that is that no matter how big your team is, you're always leading somebody. Somebody's always in your charge, even if it's just you as an individual. Are you giving yourself purpose, direction, and motivation? Do you have a set of tasks, both short-term and long-term, that you're trying to get after? And are you making yourself better than you were yesterday? Or are you just spinning your wheels, doing the same thing day in and day out, and expecting things to just magically happen, right? It's like we expect the goodness to just fall from the sky and just somehow make us better. Well, regardless of what it is that you want to get after, that's just not how it happens. You have to roll up your sleeves, get in the trenches, and go do some work. And that's one of the things that leaders have to do. You have to get into the trenches and do the work. Be about what it is that you want your dudes to be about. But take care of yourself first. And then everything else, again, whether or not you have a family who's in your charge, whether or not you have a community action group that you're working with or that you have a leadership role in, or whether you're just extending your influence horizontally, maybe not vertically, right? Maybe it's more of a horizontal influence, right? You keep doing these things and you keep working on mastering your craft. So how can I become a better student of leadership? Yes, you could go buy all the books that you want about leadership, and there are literally tons of them. And ultimately, they all come down to some form of organizational self-help. But what I would tell you is to learn more about humanities, learn more about people, learn more about structure and organization, and take these things and build upon them so that you can get to a better place where you're at. Team, I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Just a little jib-jab sitting here by the cows. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.
We know you're out there! Come to my voice!
Team, if you want to master your craft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on future content. Consider becoming a channel member. It's going to give you exclusive access to content not available to anybody else. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.